We're the Indie Projects, Bee and Theo. In 2017, we bought an abandoned property in Central Portugal and spent the last few years turning it into a fully fledged homestead, converting an old stone barn into a cosy tiny home. Working non-stop and overcoming many obstacles, it turned out better than we ever could have imagined. As one chapter closes, another one begins. Our dreams of living even more remotely in a fairy tale forest with space for animals to roam and our passions to grow became a reality. Before we have even moved there, it was devastated by a huge wildfire, drastically altering the landscape. Immense flash floods followed as the land couldn't hold onto the water. Follow us as we carve out our new life on Miracle Mountain. Good morning everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. We're here at Miracle Mountain and we've got a really fun video for you today. What better way to update you on everything that's going on in our life than walking around this gorgeous place.
We are just on our way down to the football pitch area and this view just never gets old. Look at that, there's water in the lake, perfectly blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. It's gonna be a gorgeous day. So that leads us nicely onto our first question, and we've had a ton of questions about the lake behind me. As you can see, it's not got much water in it right now, but hopefully that will all change really soon. So one of the questions is, can we stock this lake full of fish? And we definitely have plans to stock it full of fish for the ecosystem. And the other question is, how do we actually fill it with water? Because I know a lot of you guys have been a little bit confused because it's been raining lots and the lake still isn't full all the way. This is a massive lake. This lake is bigger than a lot of people's property and you can't really get an idea of the scale of it until you stand inside it and look out. It's absolutely ridiculously big. This is jet ski big, houseboat big, and we have many ideas for this lake, but the way it gets filled is not from the rain, although that can help, and we have all of this guttering and drainage that runs into the lake when it does rain. It actually runs from the spring at the top of the mountain, so there's constant water flowing into this lake and then out again, which hopefully will make it really nice and clean. And before I can actually fill that lake up from the spring, I've got quite a lot of work to do upstream on the side of the mountain, fixing a dam.
It wasn't just the forest that made me fall in love with Miracle Mountain, it was the thought of all of the wildlife that would be here. And we get a lot of questions about, do we actually hear the wildlife that lives in this forest? And the answer is yes. We regularly hear the foxes and the deer. And the deer is really interesting because we've never heard any of the deer here in Portugal. That's going to slap me in the face.
I just walked into the tree.
I could see it and I'm like, that's going to get me. That was going to be a Win the Wilderness moment where we'll cut to that shot. Oh, ow, that hurt.
How about let's go and find another place then?
So forgetting the tree branch, the deers sound like dogs when they bark, and I don't think we've actually identified exactly what type of deer they are yet, but they're quite small. Yeah. They're very cute, they run in herds and they sound like dogs when they bark. I think deer bark, but it's really lovely to hear them.
So it's funny that we answer that question here because just a couple of days ago, right here where I'm standing, a deer nearly ran into me on this road. And just down there in the valley where the stream runs down, it basically just galloped past me and did a funny little jump over the stream. It was the most amazing thing to see on our property. And that's not the first time I've seen deer. I've seen them quite a few times here, so hopefully more to come.
So we're just heading to a really cool part of the property, and also we get asked an awful lot, when are we actually going to move here? What needs to be done before we can? And I'm going to show you what we need to do.
So one of the main things that is most important to us is our animals. We absolutely adore them. They need the best care possible, and we don't want to bring them somewhere where they don't have the correct shelter or security from other predators. So I'm standing on the football pitch. The football pitch we don't need. Me and Bee aren't going to start playing five-a-side football with each other. So this space is just a really nice big flat area that we can utilize for the chickens.
Our feathered family are really important to us, and if you've seen our videos, you know they've got an epic A-frame that they live in on our other property. The thing is with these chickens, they're half Brahma, so they're pretty big, and when I say big, people are always really surprised when they meet them. So it's not a case of just being able to buy a chicken coop and set it up here. Unfortunately, we have to build them one from scratch. So that's another thing that we have to do before we can move here, because unlike the cats and the goats, chickens are predator fodder, and you all know that we've got loads of things that roam through here that would absolutely love to have our chickens for dinner. So it's really important that they have somewhere safe for them to live, and this area is absolutely perfect. We've got really grand plans for what we're going to do for our beautiful chickens. They're going to have a brand new chicken palace that's going to be like Fort Knox. No one's getting in there and taking my chickens.
Also, the thing about the A-frame at our off-grid property, it's really big. It doesn't fit on a truck. I can't move it. So unfortunately, it's just gonna have to stay in position, but it's not unfortunate because we get to build a brand new chicken coop, and we actually have a wood delivery turning up this weekend, and we're wasting no time. We're gonna get straight on building it.
We really want to move here as soon as we can, because the drive here every single day and then back to our other place is pretty tiresome. But there's a few things other than the chickens that we have to sort before we can move here. The most important one is the septic tank. That did get damaged in the fire. The lid got completely melted off, the pipes got destroyed, and unfortunately when the rains came, they filled it in with loads of debris. So we've been trying to find someone to come and have a look at it, fix it, clean it out, but unfortunately every company we've contacted so far has said they won't come to this area. So that's still something that we're trying to figure out on top of everything else.
Squarespace is a fantastic all-in-one online platform which enables you to build and create your very own website. Whether you're setting up a brand new business, want a space to host a blog, portfolio, or anything in between, you can start off by choosing one of their numerous templates, getting your new website up and running in no time. Whether you're building a website to write about your hobbies, have a shop you want to sell items from, maybe even have a restaurant and need a space for people to easily book tables online, then you'll find a theme for you. Themes are customizable if you fancy switching them up by changing the colors, fonts, and information blocks on each page. Squarespace has made it easier than ever to create your own custom domain straight from their platform, and even have a newsletter service. If you'd like to give Squarespace a try and build your very own professional looking website, then click the link in our description or head to squarespace.com/indieprojects for a 2-week free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So the next question is, why are we burning stuff and not chipping absolutely everything? There's a good reason for this. We got 57 acres here. That's a lot of space. That's a lot of debris that needs to be cleared. That's a lot of branches that need to be trimmed. And we will keep the best stuff for chipping, but we can't chip everything because there's just so much of it. If we were to chip everything, this whole channel would just turn into a chipping channel. Or all you would see us do is just chipping stuff. Burning is very quick, it's very easy, it's very effective. So right now, what we're trying to move here and clear as much stuff as we can for the next summer. We're going to burn as much stuff as possible, and then we've got all of the good quality stuff, the right trees to chip for Bee's veggie garden. So we've got a plan in place and it's working so far. So another idea a lot of you guys have had is, why don't we just pile up all of the debris that we've got into big piles, put it under trees, and create an environment for insects and animals to live in. And that's a really nice idea, and it works in places like the UK, which has a completely different climate to Portugal. It's actually illegal to do that here. You have to keep your land clear, and the only reason we still have our house and our garage standing is all of the work and effort that we put into clearing this property as soon as we bought it. So it's really important that we keep everything down. We burn debris, we chip debris, and we don't keep it in big piles that could basically be kindling for a bigger fire.
It's really nice walking along here because the ground is so frozen that the grass is actually crunching under my feet. But something that people have been asking about is, are we going to be doing another group adventure? And the answer is yes! To Alaska in only a few months' time. Well, actually in June, so it's a little bit away. And we do actually have some spots still available. So if you fancy going on an adventure in Alaska with us, camping and hiking, we might see bears, eagles, moose, who knows what else, then we'll put the link in the description actually, and you can sign up and find out more information. Alaska 2023, here we come.
As you can see, there's just a massive expanse of different areas on this property. Right now where I am, I'm on terraces.
Terrace world.
And these terraces, there's probably about 6 or 7 of them, and they're huge. To put it into perspective, 1 or 2 of these terraces is probably the size of our off-grid property, which is just ridiculous. They are massive. And that leads me on to another question about equipment and the tools for this place. And when we bought this place, we knew that we would need the right gear, modern, good technology to be able to keep this place cut. So the grass is going to need cutting. We'd need a lot of sheep to keep this grass down, that's for sure. But with a good quality tractor, I really want a good quality tractor, modern, with a front loader. That is going to be the key to our success of keeping all of the big wide open spaces down, and also help us with some building projects as well.
We've been asked if we actually get snow here, and in the mountains in Portugal it's the only place you're really gonna see snow, and we haven't seen snow here because this winter has actually been the hottest on record as far as I'm aware. I read a news article the other day and pretty much all of Europe was insanely warm for this time of year. It's dropped down the last few days, we've had ice, but we've not seen snow, and if we did get snow it wouldn't be anything extreme, it would just be a flurry. Maybe this deep, that's wishing.
So this is really old, what looks like a bridge. It's absolutely massive and I can't move it on my own, but it's definitely not in the same position that they would have left it. And my only idea is that they would have had this to access the terraces and further up the land, easier to walk across, because this is a long way from the house, it's a long way from the garage, and also it crosses a river, so it's really actually quite hard work going down into the riverbed and back up the bank. So this makes sense, and you can see that they've actually welded rebar on where they would have been able to lift it with the crane that we have on the property into place. So I think me and Bee are going to have a go at just trying to slide it across, and then we can definitely utilise this because it'd be a really good shortcut onto the terraces. Jump. Oh. Right, if we both come on this side and we just pull it towards this way. Okay.
3, 2, 1. Bit more.
There we go. Oh, it fits like a glove into that position, doesn't it?
It needs something under on that
yeah,
side. It's a bit flappy.
I can see that there was some stones.
Go on, you walk across, test it out.
I don't know. It's still a bit.
I mean, it's on.
Yeah, but I'd have to walk just on one side. Woo! Oh, that was sketchy.
It barely moved.
You made it. So Bee made it across. Now it's nice and secure. We put some stones under so it doesn't wobble. But I think what I'm going to do is come back, drill some holes, put some wooden slats across that, because it is such a quick shortcut to get to places where we need to.
Something that came with the property that we never really envisioned having in our lives was this swimming pool here that's basically been abandoned for many, many years, and people have asked, are we going to be keeping it, are we going to use it? And the answer is probably no. Yeah, is it no?
Probably no, but
I don't think we'll use it. It does look inviting, but
summer.
We're just like, we've got a big lake, and I know that's not necessarily going to be full to the brim and usable this summer, but in the future it will. And This just is a little bit knackered. It did get a little bit burnt from the fire, but this area that it's on is actually really useful, and maybe in the future we could build a little carport or something for the car in the summer when the sun is blasting down on it. That would be really nice, but I don't think that this swimming pool is going to be staying in our lives.
So a lot of you guys have been telling us how useful an excavator would be on this property, and are we going to buy one? And I'm currently sitting on our new excavator. It's a Kubota U17 3. It's got 1,300 hours on the engine, and if you come around here you'll just see it's in good condition. It's going to be such a workhorse with fixing all of the problems around the property from the fire and the floods, and I can't wait to get out on it.
We're heading up into the mountain, and we actually discovered something really exciting in the forest the other day, a new area that we'd never been to before.
So the next question, well, we're heading up the mountain, and believe me, we're heading up the mountain. This place that we found right at the top, beautiful area, can't wait to show you. I've forgotten the question.
How do we have so much energy?
How do we have so much energy? Which is perfect as we're climbing a steep incline. It's absolutely knackering, and the answer is every night we just collapse. It's really not hard to sleep when you're as busy as we are. What's really cool is we found this road, and when we found this road we found this new area. So this road is pretty clear, to be honest. Probably take a day or two of work just to cut back some of the old burnt trees that had self-seeded and started to grow in the middle of the road. But the road is in fantastic condition, which is really good, and it means I'll be able to get the UTV all the way up the top of here in the future. We've still got a long way to go though.
Understandably, we get a lot of questions about what's going on with our barn conversion that we started in 2020. We've actually been living in it for almost a year now, and it's been really lovely being in that space. Our visions came to life, and it's such a wonderful area. But as we have this place now, and we've been trying to get it in a usable, safe condition, we've had to put it on the back burner for now. The barn conversion is about 90% done. We will be finishing it, and of course when we do, we will definitely be showing you everything about it in its complete state. But we will also be selling that place because we don't need to have that place and this place. That would just be too much to maintain and manage altogether.
And the village house, I've seen lots of comments about the village house, and yes, we still own it. It's still there. It's still going up in value, which is why we bought it, because it is an investment property. We don't live there, we're never going to live there. It's just a project where we're going to do it up and sell it when the time's right, and the time will be right probably around the springtime. It's not taking much of our energy because I'm project managing it, and we have contractors come in and do most of the work, and there's not much left to do really to finish it off ready for sale. So we're excited about that because that will bring some income in for us that we can use to do projects here on Miracle Mountain. I know it seems to other people we have a lot going on, and we do. Bee's got ADHD, I'm autistic, and we like to have a lot of challenges and a lot of projects to keep our brain engaged.
So here we are at Boulder Point, that's what I'm calling it for now.
I like that.
And I'm calling it Boulder Point because I don't know if you can see behind me, there's an absolutely gigantic boulder there. It's like the size of a house.
Go and stand next to it for scale. It's
Monster.
huge.
And it's really big. It's not just like tall, it's massive, it's so wide. It would be pretty cool if, you know, I'm not going to do it because I don't like digging through stone, but imagine making a cave house out of this.
A cave house at the top of it would be cool. I want to climb it.
Theo wants to climb it. I mean, I could. I've not got stretchy trousers on, but today, this spot here I want to tell you about it because when we found it, we were so hyped. It's amazing. It's flat, pretty much perfectly flat. There's like no things really growing here. There was obviously some bushes that burnt. All these trees have burnt. I think they might be dead. They're very black.
There's a perfect road going to it.
There's a road going to it, it's very steep, but we've got a nice flat area. Wouldn't it be amazing to create some sort of like retreat area up here, like a wonderful little forest cabin maybe?
A cabin with a little wood burner.
I've got it in my head, and whether I actually do this I don't know, but I love the idea of when we live here finally, coming up here in the mornings, you know, like sunrise, so it'll be obviously only in winter time because sunrise in summer's too early, and having like your morning coffee up here, listening to the birds, it's so peaceful. I feel like I am on top of a mountain here.
Look at the views out. So right over there, that is a morning meditation spot.
You are not flexible, and also those little stumps are probably just going to snap off.
Don't tell me I can't do
like
it.
charcoal.
You know what happens when people tell me I can't do stuff.
Look at this, it's just literal charcoal. Don't hold on to that. Oh, clothes are coming off. He means business.
I don't want to ruin my new jacket. This is just covered.
Christmas jacket, don't destroy it.
Ooh.
Maybe, how about to the side here?
Nah.
Bit too much of a sheer drop, I suppose.
Maybe up there. If these weren't dead, I could hold on to them.
I reckon those higher branches will be okay. Don't pull a muscle. Oh. Sparkle.
Problem is, I don't know if I can get down off once I'm up there.
You just have to slide down. So you reckon you can get any higher?
No.
Is there anything to hold on to?
I could get on there, but I'm not getting down. That is terrifyingly high already.
We need to bring a ladder then.
Maybe we build a staircase up here with a little platform where you can sit and have a coffee and just be terrified while you're having your coffee in the morning.
Can you see the top? Does it look like it?
I can see the top.
Does it look flat?
There's a little plateau at the top. I'm
just kind of slither down the tree like a, you know, like a fire engine pole, whatever you call them. You just break your legs. Oh!
Lovely.
You managed to keep the top white, so well done.
Right, we got one more question, I think, and that is all about fire safety. So the number one question we probably get asked is about fire safety and what we do to prevent a fire happening again. But a lot of people, I've noticed in the comments, also just presume that a fire is a regular occurrence. It's just going to happen every year and you just have to do your best to combat it. But that's not actually the truth. You guys probably know one of the biggest fires in Portuguese history swept through our property last summer, and it's a real testament to the clearing that we had done before the summer that we still have a house, a garage and some greenery on the trees left. Fires do happen in Portugal every single year. It's a very hot, dry climate, and last winter we were in a drought, and last summer was one of the hottest on record. So you can understand why one of the biggest fires in Portuguese history happened. Also, the fires aren't just natural. I've seen a lot of comments just saying the fires are natural and they just happen every single year. 99% of the time, I imagine it is human error. I've read a lot of stats on this. There's even pyromaniacs who go around starting these fires, which is pretty terrifying. I know that a couple have been locked up last year alone, so the authorities are onto them people, and it's just sickening to think that people would endanger lives like that. Fire is a big part of living in Portugal, especially when you're in a forest location. So legally you have to keep the area clear, and mostly that means get rid of any brush, any debris, and keep the grass low. That being said, most people who own a property in Portugal won't experience a fire on their property in their lifetime. It's not the majority, it is the minority. It's a small percentage of places and land that gets burnt in comparison to the whole of Portugal, and obviously there's more high risk areas than others. Our property, this one here where I'm sitting right now speaking to the previous owners, there was no evidence of fire for the last 20 years, so there's no need for there to be a fire for another 20 years. It's not something that is just now there's been a fire, it's going to happen every single year. It's actually probably less likely because all of the undergrowth, all of the brush has been burnt away, and all of the trees, a lot of the trees in our forest, pretty much 90% of them I'd say, are already burnt to a crisp, so they won't burn very well again. So the conclusion is to keep the land as clear as possible at the right times of year, and the fact that our house is still standing and was untouched in the fire while everything burnt around it is just a miracle, and that is why we called this place Miracle Mountain. We've had lots of people tell us that we need to cut fire breaks, we need to do this, that and the other, but there's already tons of fire breaks, and maybe in the future I'll do a whole video dedicated to fire management and how we have protected this land from fire and how it was landscaped to prevent another fire from happening. As I said, there's already fire breaks in place, but when there's a fire that's one of the biggest in Portuguese history that burned over 20,000 hectares, that was jumping over 3-lane main roads, there's really not much you can do.
So I would like to say a huge thank you for watching this video. This is my first one properly back since September. I took a break and I feel a lot better from having that break.
Can I say how amazing it is to have my beautiful partner in crime back with me, working with me on the property. It's been a hard year last year, but this is a new year and we're going to push forward and we're going to absolutely smash it. We're both feeling super positive.
Smash 2023 out of the park.
We will. Thank you for sticking by us, and we'll catch you on the next video.